In our recent post, we asked what kinds of things that you would like to see from the museum's exhibits or collection. And Jefferson Spillman said he would like to see things related to the 1918 flu pandemic. While we don't have any artifacts specific to this event, we do have some archival material. And we will start with this book. This book is on the history of Camp Bowie during the Great War. And Camp Bowie was used as a training facility where the 36th Infantry Division trained. The 36th Infantry Division was made up of Texas and Oklahoma National Guard troops. And as you can see, Camp Bowie was actually quarantined November 28th through December 18th. That was due to an outbreak of not only influenza or flu, but measles and mumps. The conditions at military camps were not great. The soldiers are put together in close, crowded conditions, and there's often not adequate heating for the tents. And so a number of people died or were seriously ill. Once the American troops got overseas, they are also now exposed to the Spanish influenza or Spanish flu, which is a more serious form of the flu that had been here in the United States. This flu had more pneumonia, and it also had a higher mortality rate. And as you can see in this part of the article, it discusses the amounts of death here in the United States as well as Mexico and India. And it notes an Alaskan village where only one adult survived. Here at Camp Mabry, we had the School of Automobile Mechanics in 1918. This was a joint project between the University of Texas at Austin and the Texas National Guard. And if those soldiers became ill, then this is where they were taken. This building was the hospital here on Camp Mabry. This booklet was a commemorative booklet put out by the School of Automobile Mechanics. And in this memorial page, you can see that there is a list of soldiers who died of influenza and pneumonia during the epidemic. You will note on the far left-hand column, second from the bottom, is Paul Campbell. And here is the World War I service card for Paul Campbell of Austin, Texas, noting his death from pneumonia on October 12th of 1918. In Travis County as a whole, for World War I, there are 78 soldiers who die. 48 of that 78 actually die of disease or illness. And you can see here, Raymond Love is one of those names for Travis County. Here we have the card for Raymond Love, again of Austin, who dies of lobar pneumonia on February 4th of 1919 while serving overseas. This is an original document from the 133rd Field Artillery, part of the 36th Infantry Division, and on this date, December 15th of 1918, you can see that 3 soldiers are sent to the hospital because they're ill, and one private is so ill that he has taken off their books and dropped from their rolls because they do not believe he will be coming back. We also have a collection of newspapers from here in Austin from the Barrow Collection. The Barrow Collection is from 2 brothers from here in Austin. One of them, Lieutenant Charles Barrow, won a Distinguished Service Cross during the war. But you can see here in this article, there's an epidemic of grippe among naval forces in the Boston district. A number of people are ill, but if you look at the bottom paragraph, it says reports that the disease was Spanish influenza was denied at headquarters of the Naval District. This is a newspaper called The Radio, and this is from the radio school, which again was a joint project between the University of Texas and the Guard, this time teaching soldiers how to use radios. And you'll notice here that the influenza only was slightly affecting the members of that group. Here we have a copy of the Daily Texan. This is from January of 1919. And here we have an article lamenting the lack of thermometers. So they're unable to take people's temperatures at the school because they do not have enough thermometers to do it. And obviously this would be an issue when you're trying to determine if people are ill. Here we have a copy of Stars and Stripes, the military paper. This is from November of 1918. And here we have an article on gauze masks being needed for men on transport, so who are being sent overseas, to keep the flu at bay. And it notes that there are 2 people who died of pneumonia as they went overseas. And lastly, we have this paper, which was published in Brest, France during the occupation, April of 1919, where it notes that Colonel Eddy, a base surgeon, was given a Distinguished Service Medal for his help in the influenza epidemic with the American troops in the port of Brest. So there you have a brief look at some articles and some documents related to the 1918 flu pandemic as it relates to Austin and our Texas soldiers.